Greetings, fellow armchair Imagineers. BlueDragonFive here. And with me, as always, Tiki. How you doing tonight, Tiki? Let me rephrase that. Folks, we're here talking about something really, truly special. We're talking about Toy Story 4, and my God, am I excited to talk about it. It's going to be wonderful. I cannot wait to talk about it. I simply cannot. I was blindsided by it myself tonight. I truly was, and we're eager to break it down shot by shot. That'd be great. Tiki, aren't you excited?
One could say, Dragon, God only knows what I'd be without the Toy Story franchise.
Yes.
Dragon, just I'm gonna break it down for you just in the most simple terms possible. All right? This is so easy. This is so easy, okay? Like, I think this is a fantastic trailer, but I am very, very biased. You know why?
Why?
God Only Knows is one of my all-time favorite songs. Like, maybe up there in the top 5. And so as soon as that song kicks in, I'm just like, yep, you got me. I mean, Pixar, you got me. You got me, man. This is just, it's pure emotional manipulation, but in the best of ways, Dragon. I am stoked for this movie. I don't care what anyone says. I think that almost a decade is a fine amount of time to go without a Toy Story movie. I think it's long enough to justify it, and I'm ready for this, Dragon. I am honestly really, really stoked.
Good to hear. I mean, I got to tell you, I was completely. Let me put it this way: this is my reaction when the Toy Story 4 official trailer dropped because I've been waiting for this one for a while because we've had a few teasers and a few like kind of really cryptic clips that had me on the edge of my seat. And I just kind of, I didn't know about this like from the very beginning when it dropped. When I just found out about it, it was like, it's gonna sound ridiculous, but just indulge me if you will. Everything just stopped. Like the world slowed down for a moment. Everything went slow mo, and then basically imagine this: like everything goes slow mo, and then like my hands were moving at high speeds, just like pulling the thing up. Like I was like basically, it's like imagine the time space continuum around you stops, and you see Toy Story 4 trailer, like what? And then everything's going slow around you, and you're clicking and getting the thing and then going full screen as fast as you can. Basically, you're speeding up time around you as it all comes into frame. Everything slows down at that moment. That's basically my reaction
I
to the
hear
Toy
you.
Story
I
4
hear
trailer. It's like,
you.
oh my god. Then I like the one day, of course, like it couldn't have been on Monday. No, out of the blue on Tuesday.
Hello to Louise in the comments.
Ah, welcome.
Yeah, nice to see you, Louise, as always.
Howdy, howdy, howdy. All right. So, so yes. So what was you? So when this thing dropped, obviously Beach Boys really had you.
Dragon, in layman's terms, the Beach Boys is simply like, I don't know how much else I can put it. It's like, it's one of my favorite songs. It's one of my favorite franchises. It goes together with like peanut butter and jelly. I don't know what else you want from me. I really don't. Like, I just, I'll say one thing, all right? I'll say one thing, and we'll get into it more as we go shot by shot. Not sure how I'm feeling about the dummies.
Well, I'll put it this way: no, at least you and I both know someone who probably lost their minds at the dummies. But
But that's the thing. I'm not sure if he lost his minds for a good or bad reason because it feels like it's never a good thing when I'm watching it and I'm feeling like, okay, this feels like it's from something, it's from another franchise.
let me put it this way: I like the dummies for a very specific reason. We'll get to them when we get there.
Uh-huh.
Anyway, so without further ado,
Louise Brooks says, cool to hear you talking about this. Was wondering what your thoughts were. Yeah, Louise, honestly, this is why I should use my Twitter because I should have tweeted out my instant thoughts on it, Dragon. That's another mental note to take for me in the future using Twitter. But Yeah, I definitely, as soon as this dropped in the morning, there was no doubt in my mind. I was like, yep, we're doing this tonight, no doubt.
Folks, the only thing that rivals my love of Batman the Animated Series is Pixar, but of all things Pixar, it's Toy Story. The Toy Story franchise is like the only thing that predates my love of Batman. I mean, boy, oh boy, I'm gonna be sweating bullets when this thing comes out because I'm gonna be worried, like, oh god, they're taking such a huge risk going back to the well after like the one with perfect cinematic endings. They're going back to the well. It's gonna be like when Deadpool came out all over again. Be like, oh, what? Oh God, what if it's what again? It's a movie I waited 10 years for, but what if, what if it's not good? What if it's oh no? Just I've had it talked up in my mind so long now, and it's probably changed versions and stuff. And like, oh God, what if it doesn't live up to be as awesome as it is? And basically, I'll be sweating bullets, even though I probably shouldn't be. Based on this trailer, I shouldn't be, but we'll see what happens. I'm whatever happens.
All right.
Very interesting. Okay, so let's just dive right into it. So, folks, we're going to be breaking this down shot by shot. Also have some subtitles up, and they kind of apparently you can control the size of the subtitles these days. So I kind of kept them medium. So hopefully they won't get in the way. But just in case you're saying, no, that's not what they said, you moron. Well, you have it there in front of you for the record. So okay, so let's break it down. Unless you got anything else.
No, let's do it.
All right. Okay, so we have Woody addressing the room and kind of making the introduction to the gang of Bonnie's new friend. Bonnie made a new friend, and as Dolly's attesting to right now, oh, she's already making friends. How lovely! How great! Woody corrects her as again we kind of does really good editing here as we kind of see her literally making her new friend. No, she literally made a new friend, and we meet Forky.
You know what my favorite detail on Forky is, Dragon?
Is it the mismatched googly eyes or the Bonnie on the broken popsicle stick?
The Bonnie on the broken popsicle sticks. I love that she had to write her name on both of the popsicle sticks.
Yeah, well, it's one name but broken in half.
Yeah, right.
Of course, Forky played by the wonderful Tony Hale, who many people will probably recognize him from Veep. He's one of the great characters on Veep. He plays an excellent character on Veep.
Uh-huh.
And Gary. Basically, Gary is Selena Myers, basically the vice president of the show. Kind of, she goes for the election trail and everything. Julia Louis-Dreyfus' character plays the bag now. He's the assistant wearing has like the bag of hand sanitizer and basically her go-to guy for every little mundane thing she needs, and he values himself very importantly. So that's what made his career that one. He's had some less favorable roles, like he's been in one of the Alvin and the Chipmunks movies. But he had a really good role as the Joker in Batman Ninja. So
Oh, nice.
Tony Hill gets around. Tony Hill's a good actor.
Yeah.
Anyway, so he's playing Forky. So again, we'll get to really see him shine. We've been getting little pieces of him in the marketing. So it'll be really interesting to see if Tony Hale could. Again, I'm pulling for him, but there's a chance Tony Hale could sink the movie as this Forky character. A lot of people are worried about Forky. They are.
I don't know, man. I honestly, this is gonna sound mean, but I feel like if any casting is gonna sink the movie, it's gonna be Key and Peele.
Heresy.
I know. It's just Key and Peele. It's like I don't think that Toy Story has ever done celebrity voices in the way that these Key and Peele characters are coming across. Forky, to me, I think really works, especially with this trailer and the context of the trailer. I've always been down with Forky. I always think that the idea of like the existential crisis is just like totally in the Toy Story wheelhouse.
Yeah, that's what sold me on Forky too. Just the X's again. It's just all the possibilities.
Exactly.
Right.
And that kind of sells the sequel. It's like a sequel that justifies itself because even though we're 4 films deep, we're still adding significant world building.
Absolutely. I echo those thoughts entirely. And real quick, speaking of which, I love that within this trailer, we do have kind of the monolithic, almost biblical feat within the world building here of basically a logical logic in kind of like a biblical sense here, where again, she's creating new life. We've never seen that. she's going to uncharted toy water. She's creating new life with kind of creating her own toy, which again we've never seen done. She's taken an animate spork and turned it into an animate object.
Yeah, yeah. I'm
Really
really
next level
excited
stuff.
for the scene Dragon to see how that plays out in whole. Like, is it going to be like a big, like, kind of like Sporky coming into the light or what?
Well, of course. I mean, it's implied that Woody went to school with her. And he witnessed this happening. So again, it's kind of big and prolific that Woody's going to be there to witness this happening. It's going to be really interesting.
Oh God!
And of course, in kind of the Pixar style here, we have a moment where some comedy here, where one as Forky's literally going, as Forky is literally going to pieces as the eyeball drops there. This Prickle Pants says he's a spork. Mr. Prickle Pants basically he's pointing out the logistics of a spork becoming a toy. But again, a funny line, but at the same point, again, this is kind of occurred to me with the trailer. This is a big test. This is again this really next level again, like the fourth movie justifying itself. The thing I didn't consider was the implications this would have for Woody. And that's what this whole trailer is really about. It's about kind of looking at the kind of these game changing elements of story through Woody's perspective. Which again, don't get me wrong. I mean, it's kind of a no brainer that obviously Woody was going to have a big role in this movie and be the lead of this movie in all essence. But by the same token, just Woody kind of having his fundamental kind of core beliefs really put to the test in this fourth installment. That's the really interesting thing.
Yeah, and of course, my mind in this movie keeps going back to the big Tom Hanks interview where he's like, "This movie broke me, man. It broke me. That ending, especially."
There's a line in this trailer that practically broke me, and we'll get there. I think this trailer's doing a good job. But before we get there, again, but seriously, again, Woody's whole like core belief, the rule of Toy Story, the rule of thumb is that a toy is put on this earth to be played with. They're manufactured, to be played with, and you look out for the children. That's the purpose of a toy. And this worldview gets tested when again a toy can be created through a spork. When the toys can be created and kind of given life through the eyes of a child. And again, it's just really it's kind of mind blowing when you think about it. Okay, so we see we're definitely going on a road trip this movie. We see Bonnie and her family, including her father, by the way, which we've never seen before.
Yeah, nice.
Going on an RV ride. They're going on an RV trip here, and we see Bonnie bringing her toys on for the journey. And she's really taking the Forky again, kind of the toy she's recently.
It looks like my guess is that Woody was her favorite toy before Forky. But unlike Toy Story 1, where now she's got a new favorite toy, she's not replacing Woody because we see Woody right there with her, and B, Woody is all supportive of like, hey, unlike the situation in the first Toy Story, Woody's like, okay, Sporky, I'm sorry, I keep calling him Sporky Dragon, I apologize. Forky is the most important toy to Bonnie right now, and we need to make darn sure that nothing happens to him. It's like, and I love how much that shows that he's grown as a character, man. It's such a kind of full circle arc for him.
Absolutely, and that absolutely again, Woody respects this, and the importance that Forky poses to Bonnie, and of course we just see how far he's gone since the first Toy Story film, which is just great. Again, that cements that Toy Story 4 is not going to spit in the face of 3, which I think is the really important thing they want to get right in the marketing. So far,
that's what I'm saying. Exactly.
And of course, it is a really great thing to consider here that Forky again is kind of treading in the new territory where again, as we've seen in the previous scene, Forky is really fragile. I mean, he's losing pieces of himself. Again, he is something that is not designed to be plastic or something durable. He's not designed to be a toy.
He's literally something that's designed to be disposable, and that does creep into his psyche, which is great.
Absolutely, and again, we're protecting this non-toys in a very fragile state, and again, this reflects Bonnie and herself because remember, Bonnie's she's very different than Andy.
Yep.
She's very creative, like as we saw with Dolly and the rest of her toys. They're like her method theater actors, and again, they have kind of roles imposed upon them. instead of them just being, she interacts within the play. We see she plays a lot differently, and therefore Forky feels like, again, because in itself it feels ridiculous that, okay, this fork is now her new favorite toy, but it's her favorite toy because she created it. That's why it's her favorite toy. Makes sense. But yes, as you were saying, so Forky's having the identity crisis, which again, from the get-go, is kind of the really great existential thing that really was kind of the hook for Toy Story 4 from that first, kind of Ring Around the Rosie teaser they had. I was made for soup, salad,
yeah,
maybe chili, and then the trash. So that line in itself, by the way, then the trash. Again, it sounds like we're just applying a lot of importance, speculative importance. Bear in mind, we're applying a lot of importance to all these lines. But seriously, think about this for a moment. Just indulge me here. This character, it's fascinating. This character has a fascinating worldview in complete and utter contrast to Toy Story 3 when you really think about it. This character accepts his demise. Toys fear the dump. They fear their inevitable end. They fear the landfill. They fear the trash bags. Where this guy, his whole purpose is death. It's use, then death. He's fully accepting of his worldview, and this is what's weirding him out. How trippy is that?
Dragon, I don't think Forky's surviving the movie.
But again, I think he's going to be happy not to survive. Here's
the thing. That's what I'm saying. It's going to be like a Bing Bong style death.
Quite possibly, by the same token, if he changes his tune, then it's going to be really sad, of course, if he goes. Imagine how cruel that would be.
That would be brutal.
That's what I think.
Again, Dragon, it's like, gosh darn Tom Hanks putting that idea in our head, like, oh, it's going to break us, but it's just kind of cast a shadow. Like, that interview gave me more to speculate on for Toy Story 4 than any trailer could, Dragon. Like, just the way that interview was phrased, I was like, oh, what could it be? All right, anyways.
Absolutely. All right, so as you can see plainly, so Forky's basically making, okay, I'm out of here, man. I'm not designed for a toy. The stress is too much for his little Forky mind to
handle.
And
I love the voice acting on Hanks because he literally sounds like he's having a panic attack.
Yep, right there. And of course, he's going the rescue mode here, which you can classically. And Woody, I really think we're going to apply, and I don't want to say it's going to get in the way of the storytelling here, but I think we're going to explore Woody's mental state a little bit in this movie. And maybe I don't want to count my chickens before they hatch here, but I think they're going to get into something we've been building for the first 3 movies here, where Woody has a bit of a savior complex, a bit emphasis on a bit. Where we have he goes to save Wheezy as an extent of saving himself from a yard sale. It's kind of what he's doing there. Of course, that gets him in the hot water in Toy Story 2 with Al and Al's Toy Barn and whatnot.
Mm-hmm.
And again, I think we're kind of seeing Woody, his response to kind of this induced sense of panic. And again, he cares about Bonnie. And of course, he's kind of thinking about the kid here. By the same token, again, his response to the stress is to save the toy. And again, a great risk to himself here because Buzz, we got to get Forky. And again, so far compared to Toy Story 1, where Woody's like, okay, the new toy's out of her life. There's plenty of us. We're fine. Of course, just complete utter contrast. Again, see how far he's come. And of course, just love Buzz and Woody. Me and my guys here, man. Buzz and Woody, they're in action mode. They're in rescue mode. We have Buzz rolling around, doing some cool stuff. There's Woody does this really heroic thing. And again, my heart, it sounds so silly because obviously we know he's going to survive past the sea here, but still, it's just like Woody jumped from a moving car. And this landing, I took the oof, just like, wow, oh my God. Look, and of course, we're doing some fun Woody animation here where Woody has the ragdoll kind of gag here with the lens. So, yeah, he should be fine. By the same token, we don't know how fast that
The twist is that when he dies in this moment and the rest of the movie is just his existential crisis as he's facing the abyss.
Oh my God, I think I noticed something here. Oh, dear.
What? Oh, God.
Oh, no. Oh. Boy, they did it.
What?
Bonnie's written on his boot.
Oh boy.
I just noticed that. Oh my God. Sorry, folks, I'm just processing this right now. Oh God.
Could Andy be written on the other boot?
Trying to remember. Okay, give me a second. I'm literally just kind of going through Toy Story 2 in my mind right now. Just. Right, the first 2 Toy Story.
Or is the implication that they washed off the Andy name and put the Bonnie name?
Let me keep track. His legs are are all twisted right now. I'm just trying to remember which legs which right now. Okay, give me a second here. Okay, yeah, let's see. So the left leg is the one that's okay. Okay, yeah, it's the left leg. That's the one that says Bonnie and okay. So when Woody in the first Toy Story movie, he lifts his boot, and the boot that he lifts is okay. Now I'm thinking of okay. So I'm going to the cleaner scene from Toy Story 2. Okay, so
Okay.
so Jonathan Harris.
This is us like we could be breaking some news on this dragon.
All right, so Jerry from Jerry's Game. He's
no one else noticed.
literally playing out the scene right now. Okay, so Jerry from Jerry's Game. He's the cleaner. He's the one who fixes up Woody for Al. Okay, after Woody gets his arm ripped off and he's getting reattached. We have the whole sequence. We have the gas where the Andy being painted over. So the boot that he grabs is. I want to say. I'm convinced it's the left.
Oh, man.
I'm going to be kicking myself if that's wrong, but I'm convinced it's the left, and the boot that we just saw is the left. So it's implying that it was painted over for Bonnie. And again, that's world building. We haven't really seen Andy on the undersides of Woody and Buzz's boots in the shorts. And I'm not saying they weren't there, but again, this could be a recent development for the fourth movie. Again, time has passed in between things, so again, it could have just been like an eventuality that's probably happened. Regardless, again, that's clear as day right there, folks. Bonnie's written on that boot. I mean, after this, you can be sure I'm going to go back. I'm going to double check. I mean, I'd be encouraged to right now, but I can't at the moment, obviously. But again, point being, it's Bonnie on the boot here. But regardless, it's a new development, folks. Forgive us for being so swept up in it. Point being, look at that right there, folks. Forky's asking the big question right now. Why am I alive? We have that question in a Toy Story. So this sign takes me back to I was reading this.
This movie is literally asking nothing less than the meaning of life.
Only in a Toy Story movie, only in a Pixar film could we get away with that and have it not be overplayed. What's great about this takes me back to this is going to sound super niche, so buckle up, folks. I remember way back in the day they had the Toy Story comics they were putting out. And in those comics, there was one issue that really struck me beyond all others. And it was unfortunate it's a short-lived series, but they had this one issue where Woody and the Sarge from the Army Men. The Sarge was tired of being misrepresented by Andy. Andy kind of labeled him as something different. Kind of changing up the Army Men, like they were this and that. And it was the age-old question that we've never addressed in Toy Story was raised in this one comic book issue, Tiki, which kind of correlates to what we're doing here. The Sarge asked the question, like, I'm going to talk and tell Andy, what's going on. Which, of course, basically what Woody did to Sid, and he wants to do that to Andy. And Woody, of course, said, no, you can't do that. And, of course, the Iron Man's asking the very prolific question, why? If we can be sentient, why wouldn't we tell our master what's going on? And Woody's response was, we would ruin the illusion for Andy. We'd ruin it, and we would just, it would spit in the face of his creativity. We'd be doing a disservice to the child that we owe to our purposes. It's a really great conversation, right?
Yeah.
We're kind of doing that here.
Really quick, I'm sorry, I got a couple people in the comments here. So Louise Brooks says, "Holy moly, good eye."
Yeah.
And then Donovan Martin's in the house. He says, "I love the trailer. Got so emotional watching it," and then he just commented on like the Twitter so far, but maybe more responses within after a few minutes if you have, or even if you, yeah, Donovan, I hear you. It's just that today was a really busy day at work, and then I had to go to a coworker's after party, so I really didn't get the chance to respond to anything yet. But I hear you. I should be rolling it out more quickly in the future.
All right. So again, Woody is kind of getting into kind of the mission of the mission of the toy again, kind of the Woody's worldview. He's trying to exposit upon this plastic spork, as it were. His response is essentially is you're going to help create happy memories that will last. Basically, let me try to get the full line. Your Bonnie's toy. You're going to help create happy memories that will last for the rest of her life. And of course, like the idea of children. We're here for Andy when he needs us. That whole philosophy just kind of being applied to Bonnie here. And again, so again, it's a really uplifting message. And the mission of the toy, the whole Toy Story franchise is built on, just kind of falls on deaf ears for this, for again this kind of new this new introduction into the universe here again with the child made toy, where he's just a little distracted, like, huh, what? And just what he's just going out of his mind here, like, I'm trying to have a philosophical conversation to answer all these big existential questions, and it's like, oh, come on, just. Oh, guys, what are you at
all right, so Grand Basin. Let's talk about Grand Basin. I love this as a location.
Now, if I'm correct, you correct me if I'm wrong here. Geography is not one of my finest skill sets here. Fields of study. Sorry, that makes more sense. Grand Basin is in St. Louis, right?
Honestly, I don't know. I just assumed it was a fictional town.
No, I looked into it. I mean, there is an existing Grand Basin. They could just make it up as a fictional one. But basically, here's what I'm going to speculate on what the deal is with the road trip here. Okay.
Okay.
Speculate based on just looking up in a cursory look at Grand Basin. Grand Basin, I believe, is in St. Louis, which means they've always mentioned the Tri-County area in Toy Story. And the Tri-County, and again, I could be completely wrong here, but to my knowledge, Tri-County means, it's kind of like the New York, kind of New Jersey area. Now, I've always assumed Toy Story, initially I always assumed it was kind of in California, but, because again, you have, there are a few Easter eggs that are indicative of California, which, of course, Emeryville and so on and so forth. But obviously, that's kind of tomatoes and tomatoes, and they mentioned Tri-County in the Toy Story franchise. So Tri-County is most likely where it's at. So the difference is this, folks. If the road trip is from California to St. Louis, that's at least 6 states. That's the difference. If it's the Tri-County area, that's more like that's. One second, folks. I want to get it right. Oh yeah. So that's 6 states versus 4 states, and kind of roughly 4 states, depending where they are in the Tri-County area, is kind of getting from point A to point B. I'm just trying to map out how far again Woody jumping out of the moving RV to getting to Grand Basin is. Because something we have to address. This is the farthest that any of the toys have been from home ever. Right?
Yeah.
We're not going to Sid's house in Pizza Planet here, folks. We're going way out of range here. Right. The farthest they've ever been was from Andy's house to the dump, to the Tri-County dump. Most likely a dump in Jersey, most likely. But point being, that's as far as they've been. And this is going again states distance. How many states? That's up in the air technically, but again, point being, it's a number of states. This is the biggest obstacle, the biggest road movie we've ever had in Toy Story, the biggest kind of journey from toy to owner we've ever seen. But anyways, you were saying about Grand Basin.
Oh no, I just like as you were saying, Dragon. You kind of summed it up. It's it's not just the suburbs anymore. We're going far away from the suburbs.
Yeah.
All right, we've got speculation about Bo in the comments, guys, but I'm going to wait until Bo actually shows up here to get to it. Just saying, guys, I hear you. We're just kind of going through this shot by shot here, but we will get to those comments as it goes on.
Real quick, just a millisecond here, because I know we want to move on, but I just wanted to harken back to this real quick. So again, the existential conversation. I just wanted to highlight why this is genius. Again, it's genius because it's the idea for Woody. This is our excuse for how we get Woody to be in an introspective state, kind of looking into his life as we have him explaining his core beliefs and principles to this toy that he's never encountered before. Therefore, it gives him perspective as well as when he encounters Bo Peep. So that's the genius that kind of hit me on this trailer. Like, oh my god, that makes so much sense. If we're gonna how can we do another story centered around Woody without just hitting the same beats again? Well, we give him an introspective arc, and I think that's what we're doing here. Anyway. So again, speaking of getting to Bo Peep, so okay, we're in Grand Basin. We see most likely an antique shop of some variety. It's an antique shop or maybe an antique toy place. So, again, it looks like antiques, just given the items here. And importantly, the minute I saw this, oh my god, where we see Bo Peep's lamp stand. Because remember, Bo Peep is technically a porcelain figure attached to a lamp, and of course you'll see right there. We have the sheep. On the fence, a little stand from the very first Toy Story movie. Again, looks a lot better. And of course, by the way, we haven't said this because it's very obvious, but animation Nirvana right here, folks. Never has any Pixar
pretty much
better. Incredibles look great, but still, folks, we're in the real world, man. We're in the real world. I don't know. They made a deal with the devil. It looks great. Anyway, so again, obviously, this is a really great emotional stakes here. Woody sees the lamp, and of course, Bo, and of course, this is huge stakes because ever since Toy Story 3, we had that really heartfelt, cryptic moment where Rex says, we've lost a lot of good toys, and Rex says, like, Bo Peep, and we just see that moment of hesitation. Tom Hanks making the most out of that moment of hesitation. Yeah, and Bo, and just like, again, you have a sense of loss there. We don't know what the story is, but Bo is gone. And this movie will solve the mystery of what happened to Bo Peep in the reunion with Bo Peep. So Woody sees this, and we got to go
really quick. I want to jump in.
All right, jump in.
I've got a lot of Bo Peep comments, and I don't want him to pile up. So basically, the gist of it, Dragon, is that Donovan's running theory is that Bo Peep is going to be the villain of the movie.
That's very interesting. I would argue. I think Bo Peep is going to have an alternate perspective. I think she's not going to be an antagonist, but she's going to play devil's advocate to Woody, and I think that some people could read that as like a villainous thing, but I think it's more devil's advocate than it is a villain. I think we're about to be introduced to the real villain of the piece momentarily in a second here.
All right, we'll introduce that character, and then I have some other spec.
Right here, I think Gabby's going to be the bad guy.
Okay, so Gabby. So Donovan says if you listen closely in the scene with Woody and Forky towards the end, running away from the creepy dolls, the dummies, you could hear Bo Peep supposedly saying, "Don't let Woody leave," and I think it's Gabby saying, "Don't let Woody leave."
Me too. I think I heard Gabby too, but then again, I didn't really think of Bo Peep in quite a sinister setting there. But I could be wrong. But again, I think it's Gabby as well. I think you and I are on the same page. Anyway,
and then this is actually a little bit more compelling, though, is that Donovan also mentions that the last second Forky dialogue with Woody telling him, basically when he's telling Woody someone is whispering in his ear, that could be looked upon as someone, basically looking as like Bo Peep is whispering in his ear.
Right, but again, I think Forky's literally whispering in his ear, so I'm not quite sure how to take that. But
all right, let's see. Let's see. Hold on. I think Bo could be seducing Woody into joining him, and the love of Toy Story and the lore of Toy Story. Remember Lotso. If you're a lost toy, you will be drawn into madness and hate your owner. And has that attitude. I don't think she has the Lotso attitude. I don't think she's gone crazy by any means. I definitely think she's going to be delivering an alternate perspective. What we see with Bo Peep in her character development is that she's kind of managed to move on from being a lost toy and make a good assessment out of it.
I think she's definitely had an arc and a change in perspective, which I think we're going to see well, let's put a pin in. We'll explore visually here in a second. So let's build to it. Anyway, so real quick, just getting back to the scene we have at hand at the moment. So again, they're going to investigate in this antique shop as they see Bo Peep's lampstand. Obviously, this raises questions, and Woody hasn't seen Bo Peep. They were separated in a flashback, as most likely. We meet Gabby, and Gabby is it's kind of a funny name too, by the way. Just like Gabby, just a very talkative doll. It's just hilarious and creepy looking, as most dolls tend to be. But again, the idea to me, I think what's happening here, by the way, my theory is that these antiques recognize the value in Woody, whether it just be by kind of his naturally kind of like he looks like a 50s cowboy.
Oh, I definitely think so too, because in antique stores, it's like collectible toys are a hot commodity.
Now, whether it's going to be the literal sense of they know that he's Woody from Woody's Roundup, which again essentially is the Howdy Doody equivalent in the world of Toy Story, which again would be iconic. Especially mainly if you're an antique, or if you're a kid from the 90s, not so much. But again, if you're a kid from decades earlier, then surely. Point being, though, again, they could have a good eye for like, hey, '50s cowboy, or like, oh my God, it's Woody from Woody's Roundup. So that's the real question. But yeah.
All right, a couple things from Donovan. He says Gabby Gabby looks like an animated version of Annabelle from the Conjuring movies, and yes, I agree.
You can feel that one more than I, but but I mean, yeah. So I think what
Slappy.
Sorry.
He says Slappy.
Yes, there we go. Slappy. Well, plural. Slappies. Okay, so real quick. Okay, so first off, I think they want Woody for the antique place. That's why they're going after. That's why they want him to stay, because they feel kingship among him, or they want he brings great value. Might be a cult of some kind. Like, you belong here, Woody. Perhaps. Which, by the way, was originally one of the plots for Toy Story 2, where Woody was basically not a cult per se, but it was going to be kind of more like a community thing, where the Roundup gang, instead of going to a museum, they were going to be part of it was going to be kind of like a club membership. So like, guy who's like, you're a valuable toy, like you shouldn't be risk being damaged by commoners. That was kind of one of the original ideas for Toy Story 2. And of course, we know in Toy Story franchise, they love to kind of reuse ideas in kind of inventive ways. So again, the opening of Toy Story 2 is from Toy Story 1, made 8 times better.
Mm-hmm.
But yes, on the slappy of it all, we got to talk about the slappy of it all. So here's the thing I like about it. So as I was speaking of kind of refurbished ideas, in the very original conception of Woody, Woody was a ventriloquist dummy, and I think this is their
After the slappy impression, after that kind of crossed my mind, the ventriloquist dummy thing with Woody is the second thing that crossed my mind, and I thought that was really cool.
I mean, you gotta admit, Tiki, I don't know how Goosebumps fans are gonna feel about this. Again, you could feel this a lot better.
I just wish design-wise it didn't look so much like Slappy, man. There's more than one way to design a dummy.
But again, if they're using actual brands, I mean, isn't that kind of cool that Toy Story worked in Goosebumps and some variety here for this ventriloquist character? Because again, now correct me if I'm wrong. I could be wrong here. Was Slappy created purely for Goosebumps, or was he an existing ventriloquist dummy they just kind of named Slappy, or they rebranded as Slappy?
I'm pretty sure he was created for Goosebumps.
Well, I'll raise you the point either or, Tiki. Either or, again, whether it's an existing dummy that was just kind of made very popular through Goosebumps, or vice versa. Again, still kind of a cool reference. And again, a dummy that obviously took off. And I go to my comic shop sometimes, and I've seen a couple Slappies in there. It's a real thing that does pop up every now. I don't know. I don't think it's that. It's kind of an antique, especially if it's a valuable TV toy, which again could correlate to the value of another TV star being Sheriff Woody.
Oh wait, Dragon, hold on. I know what it is. It's a Charlie McCarthy.
Well, I've seen a few Charlie McCarthy stuff. It looks more like Slappy than it does Charlie McCarthy, but I mean, it's
No, but I'm saying Charlie McCarthy is what R.L. Stine based Slappy on.
Oh, right. Oh, I got you. Right.
If there's any inspiration to Slappy, it would be Charlie McCarthy. That was the source material.
All right. Well, there you go. Maybe it's a little bit of both. Maybe it's kind of again, point being, I don't think it's a big deal. If anyone's really upset by it, I would say there's not a lot of validity to it, but that's just me.
I mean, I would say beyond just the people that can't get over that Disney is making another Toy Story and are still bitter about that. The biggest gripe that I've heard about Toy Story 4's trailer is the dummies. But it's not a big deal or a big breaking point. I just keep hearing Goosebumps jokes mostly.
And again, I'd raise you the whole that ventriloquist. Again, I just think it's so neat that he started off as a ventriloquist, and now Woody's being chased by what he originally almost was. I think that's just so delightful. It's a great injury.
And of course, he was originally going to be a much more villainous character as well, so it doubly fits.
Yeah, it's great. And then we have Bo Peep coming in for the rescue here. Coming in for the rescue. Again, that to me signifies that Bo Peep is going against Gabby. But again, Pixar is not unfamiliar to the big old plot twist. So again, I don't foresee Bo Peep being a bad guy. But again, Coco, folks, Coco. All I'll say. Take that, Disney. That's how you do a villain. That's how you do a villain reveal. Anyway, but it's going to twist no Gabby there and kind of saving Woody and Forky's bacon, as it were, and of course the big reunion between these two. And again, I've been telling you this. I love the.
This is a flashback. This is a go back.
All right. Well, go forward. All right. Yes, this is the flashback.
This is a flashback. I guarantee you that's a flashback.
Well, I know it's a flash. I told you about the. Basically, yes, this is a flashback, and this is from something called Operation Pull Toy.
Uh-huh.
This is a clip that they show that had me on the edge of my seat. That I won't spoil it for anyone who hasn't seen the clip. That kind of shows the lead up. That I guess basically it sets up what this moment is kind of linked to. Like this follows like the clip that they teased earlier on, and it's very harrowing and it kind of telegraphs what might happen here. And it looks very it's very on the edge of your seat type stuff here. But again, what we didn't have in that clip that we have here, we're gonna have it on the edge of your seat like shock value in like 30 seconds, and here what we have is like kind of the emotional resonance of kind of Woody and Bo Peep's last goodbye here, and this is tremendously heartfelt and again beautifully rendered. And I love the lighting of this scene, man. This scene's gonna have my heart in my chest. You're like, oh, look at this. Oh, yeah, but seriously though, so the talk about Bo Peep's new design, by the way. So again, we talked about a smidge before, but again, I love the idea that over the years, Bo Peep is kind of more of a survivor of kind of a survivalist over the years. She's probably been separated from Woody, and she's kind of been facing the world on her own, kind of without an owner, without all the stuff that she's used to, and she's kind of toughened up. And we see some band-aids, some bandages. She's made of porcelain, very crackable, very very fragile. And again, she's done well for herself, and she's bandaged herself up. And you'll notice she's she's basically like it's hard to see here, but in some other shots you can there you go, right here. You can see she's basically taken her dress and she's turned it inside out and wears it as kind of like this cape or like a shawl or something. So it's I love the design work there. I think that's great. I love that it's absolutely faithful to the Bo Peep design, but by the same token, it's kind of next level and again really like a toy who's been through some stuff. It's great design. Yeah. Search care weigh in on it or
Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah. I mean, I'm just I'm still pretty familiar with the design because the design was leaked a while ago. But it's nice seeing it in action, and honestly, seeing it in action, I feel like it's a lot more palatable. Where it's still Bo Peep, but she's just kind of like added this cape onto her wardrobe.
Yes.
Where's the sheep? Says Donovan.
Yeah, here's the cool thing in that clip I was talking, the Operation Pool Toy clip, basically kind of it's setting up the flashback. I love that you do see the sheep, and they rendered the sheep better than they've ever looked before. But again, the sheep were in that flashback. All right, so I can tell you that much. You're going to see the sheep again. Where are they in the present day? I have no idea, and I fear something bad might. It implies something bad's happened to him because again, they're not on that stand when she's there.
Oh dear!
She's going around without her sheep. So again, I think if she has like kind of like it's like Calhoun like with the husband, I think it's gonna be she's lost something very very tragically. I think that's kind of what we're gonna have here with Bo Peep. She's lost her sheep. Bo Peep has lost her sheep, and boy is she mad.
Donovan just very generally praising the technology at play here. He says that visual development could go a long way for an artist, and I agree.
Absolutely. Now this bit, I want to talk about Annie Potts here because Annie Potts for years. Of course, I've known her. Obviously, I know her first from Toy Story, but again, you know Bo Peep. You don't really know Annie Potts again because you kind of grow up with. You don't really put two and two together. And of course, you realize like, oh my God! At some point, you realize Annie Potts. For Janine from Ghostbusters. It's one and the same. And recently, Annie Potts, I've been loving her on her TV show recently. She plays a really great character on TV show. Teague's going to roll his eyes at, but just in case there's anyone who likes it or is somewhat intrigued or surprised by it, Young Sheldon, she's really good on Young Sheldon.
Oh God, you're damn
again,
right.
Tiki, I will say again, way better than The Big Bang Theory, and but it's
whatever, man.
Point being, she's really good.
Better than a terrible show doesn't mean it should exist.
Again, some people have a bias towards The Big Bang Theory. Such.
I don't have a bias against The Big Bang Theory. I have a bias against Sheldon Cooper.
Anyway. Point being, however you feel about any of those shows, you admit Annie Potts, she's really good in that show, and she's definitely bringing a lot of that talent here, and she's
all right. I'm sorry, I don't mean to bring it down. Like, yes, I love the performance here, and it's great that because Bo Peep was always such a one-dimensional character, kind of like the token girl character in the Toy Story franchise. And here we just get to explore so much more of her, and it's going to be such a more dynamic performance than she's ever been able to give before, and I'm excited for that.
And Bo Peep, even the little bits that we had of her in the first two Toy Story films, she was minimal, but again, she made an impact. You knew like Bo Peep was Woody's girlfriend, and she cared about him, and she gave him the pep talks when he needed it. And like she has those beautiful moments with him, like what's under your boot? Andy, of course, we see Andy under his boot, and she's saying to him, like, and the kid who wrote that will take you to cowboy camp with or without your hat. You go to Toy Story 2 on that as well, but that specifically with the whole hat bit. But again, it's just really sweet dialogue, and of course, like when it never ceases to amaze me the whole again, the brevity at its finest, where we have like Woody being kidnapped by Al, and we just have that great transition. Who would want to steal Woody? And then we see Woody just being captured. Again, it's like the power of Bo Peep in minimal doses. It goes along with it. And now her in a major role, and again, kind of like filling in. Like didn't have her at all in Toy Story 3, and we're gonna amend that right now. But seriously, her coming back with this really great opening line in this trailer, man. Sheriff Woody, always coming to the rescue. I just love the love in that line.
That. Yeah, that just sums up Woody's arc.
Like,
sure.
Bo, you sold me, man. I haven't seen you since Toy Story 2, but you sold me, man. I'm there.
All right, Dragon. Donovan raises a very interesting question. So, if one of the taglines said, "Seeing old friends and new ones," could we see past characters from the past 3 films in the Big Swan song?
Well, by that, what does he mean? You mean like characters like Wheezy and such?
Yeah, like basically characters that aren't a part of the main group that we see in the trailer. Like, for example, Dragon, one of them I can think of is I would love if Michael Keaton's Ken showed up.
That would be great, and again, that is kind of in the status quo of Sunnyside and all, and we do know that Bonnie does go to Sunnyside for the assembly.
Right.
Forky, so I wouldn't. That's not beyond the realm of possibility for all the new Toy Story 3 characters. And again, if we're doing a flashback, again, it's all on the table where, again, we could see our old favorites like maybe Wheezy and RC and such. I'll tease that much. But, and of course, the Army men, it'd be nice to see them because, of course, we don't have them anymore because they went to Sunnyside so they could always show them. And, of course, Arlie Ermey unfortunately passed away. But, again, if they had a cameo of them, that'd be tremendous.
Yeah.
That'd be tremendous. But, again, it's probably, at the very least, I think the Army men might be in the background of a Sunnyside shot if we see them. But again, I won't.
All right.
Anyway. All right.
Like I said, Michael Keaton is the one that I'm most rooting for.
Of course. All right. So then we have Bo Peep again. This is where we get into the whole Bo Peep. Basically, Woody's aiming to return the Bonnie. He's kind of in the Toy Story 1 mindset. We have to get back to our kid. We got to get back to our owner. And of course, we reveal that Bo Peep has changed not only visually but also, again, her ordeal in the ensuing decade or so since Toy Story. I guess at this point, it's Bonnie's still the same age. So let's just still say it's been 10 years since Toy Story, like 11 or 12 years since Toy Story 2 in the continuity of the films. So years have gone by, and Bo's definitely gone on an arc, and I think her worldview has changed drastically again for this decade plus. She's been without a kid and kind of been without like a set owner.
Mm-hmm.
And again, she's bringing that worldview to kind of challenge Woody's, and again, she's kind of offering kind of the devil's advocate, like why do you need to go back to Bonnie necessarily? Which again is really interesting territory. Where basically we get to this bit here, like who needs the kids' room when you have all of this? We're again just kind of positing, like look at like in your backyard when you're kind of. I think it's less. Let me put it to you this way: I don't think she's specifically saying like she's a carny or anything, because again, I'm getting a sense like she was. I'm getting a sense she was in that antique shop, hence the whole like the lampstand and everything. I don't know that for sure based on the fact it's a trailer, but I think the idea is like she's a free roaming toy, like she's a free roamer. She's abdicating freedom, which involves like you can go to a carnival and like they're on a journey, like hey, look, I can go to a carnival, kind of very nomadic experience as a toy, where you could be found by new owners, and you kind of like live out your days, and before you get to the whole, before you become too attached, you move on to the next kid, which again
Sure.
borrows from the original Sunnyside, the original Toy Story, the whole tin toy ventriloquist dummy story. Like, we go to a preschool, will be passed down from kid to kid, and will always be played with. Like one of those ideas, but a more nomadic version of that. I think that's what Bo Peep's abdicating, and there's kind of, they happen to stop by a carnival, kind of like Olive the Jerk or something,
Mm-hmm.
With Steve Martin the Jerk. They
Quick, Donovan's kind of pointing out, he's talking about in terms of returning characters, Lotso, older Sid, Al from Al's Toy Barn.
Sid would be great to see again. Lotso would be a definite possibility. Lotso would be hilarious comeuppance.
Uh-huh.
Just seeing like Lotso in a deteriorated state as like, oh god, it'd be hilarious if he was just kind of roaming around the carnival or something. That'd be hilarious. Anyway.
Okay,
so,
Donovan says, I feel like the movie has a kind of hidden world type feeling of our main character exploring what they can do, not should do, and basically flying on their own.
yes, which I believe is kind of what we have with this really great scene between Woody and Forky, and this again is kind of fueling my theory that perhaps Woody succeeds in convincing Forky the value of being a toy, but of course after he does that, then Woody's having second thoughts about his whole purpose in life, thanks to Bo Peep. Of course, if anyone in their right mind is going to convince Woody of that, it's not entirely going to be the Spork, it's going to be Bo Peep. If anyone's going to convince Woody of like legitimately sell, because again, we've seen people try to do this in the past, specifically the Prospector from Toy Story 2. He made a good attempt at it, and the whole like, you'll be loved by children for generations, but you'll be behind glass. We're here against something a little bit more prolific,
And then, of course, Dragon, this is my favorite edit in the whole movie. God damn, I love this song so much.
But again, like, so again, it's really great to him. I love the thought you can see on the face here of Woody, just like,
yeah, exactly.
Then here's where the Beach Boy music comes in. The toys
it's been used in a lot of commercials but there's a reason, man. It works. It's such a beautiful song.
They've been really pulling some old classic music for these teasers and trailers for Toy Story, oddly enough.
Yeah, they have. They have, between that and the teaser.
Yeah. All right, let's see. So, of course, now Buzz is kind of leading the search for Woody. Now, whether he's going to be doing this alone or not, I'm not quite sure. But again, it looks like he's definitely just like, well, what would he do? Like one of like the "What would Jesus do?" almost. If you're like WW, I can imagine the shirts right now, Tiki. The WWWD. Like, what do you do? Of course, Ham's like, "Oh, jump out of a moving vehicle," which is what he did, and Buzz is emulating that. Now, I don't know. I think it's just like a fancy edit. That's what I really think this is. We're just seeing Buzz just kind of leap from the window. It just seems too convenient for me if he jumps based on this one trailer. He just jumps from the window and he's there at the carnival. It's gotta be a trick of the editing, right?
I hear you.
Seriously, I love that Buzz is leading the charge and he ends up at the carnival. This is a great shot here, too. We see Bonnie and her family. Of course, we see Bonnie's father, who we've never seen before. Well, fun fact, we haven't seen the guy. And again, Bonnie seems really, she's looking for Woody, and again, possibly Buzz as well. We're not seeing Buzz in the shot, but again, it could just be she's looking for Woody and Forky, but, she's missing a few toys, and she's taking notice. And she's rather upset by it. And again, so basically we're showing the stakes here. Bonnie does care about these guys, especially Forky. And she's a little distressed that they're not there. So again, we're showing that
Woody. Like I said, Dragon, Bonnie, Woody is the toy that she's taking to school every day. Like, I think that Woody especially is another, like, much like Andy, and she probably knows the significance of Woody to Andy because Andy really hyped Woody up. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Like, again, the best passing of the torch scene in cinema, quite possibly. So then we have this. I think they're in a prize machine. That's what it looks like to me because I kind of see some wires and filament up here. It looks like kind of like the inner workings of a prize machine at a carnival, like of an arcade game or something.
I could see that.
Also, you'll notice the tin toy. Oh my God, we're going really full circle here. The genesis of all that is Toy Story,
Yes,
the
yes,
tin toy.
absolutely. That was awesome.
And we had some toys from the tin toy, the ones that hid. They were in Toy Story 3, but to my recollection, I don't remember if the tin toy himself was in. It might have been in a cameo, which again, they could have had two tin toys. It doesn't really matter. But point being, we have the tin toy and Woody intersecting in the same scene. That's awesome.
All right, so
Great.
really quick, Donovan says, I feel bad for Bonnie. I honestly cried during that scene. And this movie will be beyond emotional. Tom Hanks and Tim Allen will be right about that.
I absolutely echo that, man. It's I love that we're showing the stakes with Bonnie. That's the thing. I love that we're showing that again. We're not. I love that we're not making this. We're not making an easy choice that's going to be telegraphed through the trailer. Again, it is like you're not sure what. Basically, we have people have been making jokes about it based on the marketing and the posters they've been putting up. They've been putting up these kind of these classical Western posters of like Woody, look alone on the Toy Story 4 poster. That was like the first thing they wrote. The first
I like that, Dragon, because Woody is honestly the Buzz Lightyear might be the most popular character in the Toy Story franchise, but Woody is the heart of the Toy Story franchise.
No, I agree with you, but people are making the assumption. Here's the thing I'm kind of sold on. People were making the joke, okay, it's Logan with Woody. That's what they're doing with the marketing.
You know what? If it is, what's so bad about that?
No, that's what I'm saying. I'm not saying it was never
kind of awesome.
No, that's the thing. It is. And here's the thing. It's cool, and that was fine. I'm just saying, okay, everyone's just calling it Logan because it's just the poster happens to have kind of a Logan tone to it. It'd be cool, but again, let's wait for the trailers before making any assertions, folks. But now the trailer's coming. I got to be honest. There's a Logan feel here because it's basically giving me the Logan question of, and Logan, of course, questions like, will Logan die? Like, what's Logan's ending going to be? And I think the real question here with this Bonnie stuff and everything is, I don't know if Woody's coming back. That's the real question. Like, is Woody going to stay or go? And it's not just like, like Toy Story 2 obviously is going to go back to Andy, but in this case, it's not so clear cut. The real question, again, the Logan quality of Toy Story 4 with all this Woody stuff is going to be less the Western of the white hat dying, by the lone gunslinger, that sort of thing. It's going to be he's not going to have a Shane demise or anything, but it's going to be kind of the Shane exit of like the guy walked into our lives and he walked out. Like, is Woody going to go? That's the real question.
Right.
Which again brings it back to the Western of all. Toy Story starts with the Western. It starts with Reach for the Skies. The very first time. It's a kid playing a Western, and Woody has a Western exit. That might be how the franchise ends. Again, beyond the ending of the franchise.
Like Woody literally riding out into the sunset with Bo Peep.
Tiki, again, I never thought in a million years I'd
on the stunt guy's motorbike. On the stunt guy's motorbike. I'm calling it right now.
Oh, God. But seriously, how that's the only, like, doesn't that seem to you be one of the only, again, I'm not saying they can't come anything better here, but again, as far as we can consider based on this one trailer, isn't that the only way you can feasibly top Toy Story 3 with an ending? At least feasibly compete with it, Like, again, like the only way you can have like an epilogue ending beyond that is, okay, we end Woody's story. Woody rides out. It's the only way you get more full circle than the clouds.
Donovan's agreeing with us. He loves the Logan meets Toy Story vibe that we're throwing out there.
Yeah. And of course, I love what Woody's bringing up here. He's seen that Bo Peep's living it up. I guess the idea maybe that she visits this carnival frequently, maybe that's it. Again, I don't know. We'll see what happens. But, Woody's saying, you've handled being this lost toy life better than I ever could. And again, we've seen Woody in the very first Toy Story. We have Woody, one of Woody's big lines when they're stuck at the Dynaco gas station. I'm lost. I'm a lost toy. Again, like him saying that is like, oh God, I've heard about these guys, but I thought it would never happen to me. And now it's happening to him, like a lost toy. And again, seeing how Bo Peep's fended for herself, and he's worried about Bo Peep, I'm sure, and seeing like, oh my God, she's done really well for herself. And Bo Peep saying, "Open your eyes, Woody. There's plenty of kids out there." And again, this is kind of that preschool promise here, like this might not be a bad thing. You've always kind of hyped up in your head. I thought the same way you did, but out on my own, I made a life for myself here. It's being nomadic. It's being kind of free, without an owner. The worst thing in the world. Sometimes change can be good. We have this little toy that jumps on Woody's shoulder, by the way. Again, I believe what this is, it's sort of like kind of like a Funko.
It's kind of like a Polly Pocket, I believe, is the idea.
Okay, I think you're more right. I was thinking Funko because I'm kind of obsessed with Funko to an extent, but yeah.
No, it's not Funko. Get that Funko out of here. They have their own movie.
Oh yeah, you're right. They are. I guess. Sorry, I forgot about that. Yeah, you're right. I keep forgetting.
I mean, if they didn't have their own movie, then I'd be down for them being in this. But since they have their own movie, get them out of here.
No, yeah, you're right. You're right. Funko should.
Pretty sure it's meant to be like more Polly Pocket.
No, redact what I just said. You're absolutely right. It is a Polly Pocket. I just kind of forgot about the whole like Funko. But I was thinking what the heck that toy was, but I forgot about Polly Pocket. You're right. Of course, we have again. So basically, again, I think this is gonna be the core of the whole movie. It's gonna be less like kind of like actiony stakes. Like, will we find him or not? It's gonna be less that. Don't get me wrong, that's all fine and dandy. It's gonna be less about Buzz finding Woody. It's gonna be more about will Woody stay or go. And again, kind of the conflicting kind of perspectives here. But Bo Peep making a very compelling argument. Again, a much more loving, compelling argument than the prospector trying to deceive Woody with only a half truth. Where we're gonna have Woody kind of saying, "Well, you can't teach an old toy new tricks." Again, I love. And these are the shit. Again, this shot right here. Again, this flashback is going to break my heart here because it's going to be the separation of Bo Peep from Woody. It's going to be heartbreaking. I love how well shot this is, man. Oh god, it's tremendous. Look at the love in this. Look at the love in this guy's eye, man. Look, tell me this doesn't melt your heart.
Oh god.
Okay. So, of course...
Okay, this is a nitpick, though. I don't think it's a nitpick. I think it's a pretty big criticism.
Oh, I just noticed something.
Fortunately, we're going through, like, the whole story of the movie, it feels like.
Again, we don't know if he's going to stay or go, though. It's keeping you guessing, and again, I don't think the carnival's going to be there.
I know, but I feel like that's the only stake in it. It's like, once he sees Bonnie, it's like, okay, we have to get back to Bonnie, but, so are you saying the big stakes isn't necessarily, like, I don't know, it's just... to me, it's like I really wish they. I don't know. You don't think it's giving away too much?
I don't think it's giving away too much. I'm not saying it won't give away too much in other trailers, but right now I think it's just.
Oh, I'm not even watching any other trailers. I'll tell you that right now.
My point is, I'm
at the point where I'm sorry. I'm at the point where I kind of wish I didn't watch this one, but I kind of had to for the podcast.
So far they've only been marketing really the carnival stuff, and again that makes me think that the carnival's not going to be all encompassing. Like maybe we'll spend a few scenes there, but I don't think it's going to be the whole movie. And I don't know. I don't think we've seen everything. At the very least, I'm pretty sure we're going blind into the ending. At the very least, I know Act 3 is going to be completely. We have no idea what Act 3 is going to be, which is important. And if anything, we have maybe a general idea of how Act 1's going to go, and my guess, maybe Act 2 might have some carnival stuff, so probably that'll be... I think we know the general... We have, like half of a structure. I think that's as most of what we have here, at most. And a lot of it's speculative, so I don't know. It doesn't bother me.
Donovan thrown out that carnival perhaps symbolize innocence.
Sure. Now, if I'm looking at this correctly here, and bear in mind it's only it's a little hard to tell, but this looks remarkably like a Luxo ball. It might just be a bullseye, but it could be a Luxo ball. So you look on basically imagine like Pixar Luxo brand popsicles, because it looks like almost a little Luxo ball.
Oh my god, that'd be wonderful.
That'd be great. And they're coming for Bonnie again. It seems like he's changed Forky's tune, and again, this is what I'm talking about. This is like the stuff we don't know here. Like again, like is Forky gonna like essentially get the honorable death that he's looking for within his original purpose, or is it going to be kind of a much more tragic realization of he doesn't want to be a toy, then Woody sells him on being Bonnie's toy, and then of course he ends up dying anyway, and of course like now the death is like completely it's not the glorious death that he imagined. It's going to be like more horrific. Like, I was promised new life, and he was the beginning of something too, like a beginning of toys being created from children. That the whole it's really trippy, mind-bending stuff.
He was too young for this world.
Yes. Okay, now this is going to sound so ridiculous, so forgive me, but again, I was so elated by this shot here, because this is right here, Buzz.
The flying Buzz.
Flying Buzz, I don't know, man. I don't know why it just. This isn't even like the big. This isn't the big.
Dragon. It does go back to
falling with style.
Yeah, exactly.
I was just saying, just falling with style, man. And that's the thing. Like, look at this. This is what kills me about it, right? It's like the ultimate glide Buzz is going through right now. On some level, Buzz. Yeah, he knows he's a toy, but right now, as far as he's concerned, look at the determined look on his face. Like he's a little happy while he's flying right now. He's gliding through the air as if he were flying. So the toy is from I'll go sailing no more. Just like for a moment, it's like I can fly. This is what it must feel like. Imagine how beautiful that is.
Uh-huh.
I can see him glide, and of course, hearing over this prolific image, just like to infinity and beyond. Like, oh my god, that's it. Oh yes, yes. Oh god, it's glorious. And then we have this shot here. Now, some people have there's a really interesting theory I heard about this shot. By the way,
I love this shot, Dragon. This shot really excites me. Any Andy we get in this movie at all is going to be great.
So it's Andy, and we have a recreation of Andy's bedroom, but again, really newly rendered. Andy's design's a little changed, and this could just be filling in the blanks from.
I think it's filling in the blanks between 2 and 3. That's what I think it is. That's why it looks different.
Well, sure, but I mean, in addition to that, again, like in terms of the growth on Andy, we're showing that that's why this design looks a little different. Some people
exactly.
So I want to try to keep the original continuity as much as you can visually, and of course they've been really good with that. So that's the thing. Again, obviously, children kind of change from this to kind of an adult, like 17-year-old Andy, or I guess 17-year-old Andy. All right. So of course, here's the big theory I heard about. I just want to run this by you. I have a really interesting theory. I don't put much stock in it for a very specific reason, but some people have theorized this could be Andy's son.
Oh, Donovan actually, it's funny you mentioned that because Donovan just mentioned that in the chat.
Yes, well, here's the thing. Here's why I was really caught off guard and fascinated by that idea. But then, because again, it explains why the design's a little different from Andy, of course, if you really wanted to look at it that way. Again, it could be transitional design, or, because again, they've also improved the animation, therefore, it's going to be a little bit of cosmetic differences, especially if you have to get growing from one state to another. But here's the reason I don't think it's Andy's son. Andy would have had to keep every poster, like every single thing Buzz Lightyear, from his room.
Yeah.
That's the only reason, because again, this is like a flawless recreation of the set from Toy Story 2, and the fact that we have Jessie, because the fact that we had Jessie made me think, okay, this isn't from Toy Story 1, obviously, and therefore it would probably be around the flashbacks, because Jessie was in the flashbacks, and it's been kind of between Toy Story 2 and 3. So I'm of the mindset it's part of the flashback scene. Probably
it's a neat theory, but I agree. I'd be surprised if it panned out.
Again, they could always just be like one of those we don't care moments where at the end it's like, why does he have all the same posters as Andy? Who cares? It could be like, yeah, it is Andy's son, but why does the room look exactly the same? Because it's nostalgic. I don't know, but again, it could have, but I don't think so. We've got some new friends. We're meeting Ducky and Bunny here, which again, I'm giving them the shot, man, because it's Key and Peele, man. They've never let us down before. Key and Peele.
I mean, Donovan knows how excited I am for us, man.
That's what I'm saying. I still love that Super Bowl clip that basically we're seeing a little bit of here, where Buzz getting the better of Ducky and Bunny, kind of busting his chops here. Look at that shot. Look at the full all in one shot. Here's Buzz look all cocky, and it's like, yeah, take that, trying to kick my head, will you? Okay, so this guy's name is Duke, and he's kind of an Evel Knievel type guy on like a wind-up motorcycle.
I love that. I like that. To me, is like a brand of Toy Story that we've been missing. Is the Evel Knievel dolls, because they were a craze.
They were. And let me put it to you this way: if we don't get Ken, I think this guy will be our Ken fill-in.
Ooh,
at the very least, even if we do get Ken, Ken's going to be in like a small cameo, and this will be kind of.
I agree. I think this guy is going to be our equivalent to Ken.
It could be fun. Again, the whole Evel Knievel craze, because Evel Knievel was the hot toy. It was the big toy of the 70s, if I'm remembering. I think it was the 70s. Either 70s or early 80s, one of the two. It was 70s, it had to be. Of course, here we're back in the. For all we know, Evel could come from the antique place too. For all we know, I don't know.
I think he could too. I agree.
Going back here. Ah, yes, one of them has Forky in tow here. And again, Woody being chased by these ventriloquists, so trippy and just so kind of deep cuts Toy Story. I love it. I mean, look at these shots, man. I don't know. If they're under this car, this is a perfectly composed shot. Look at that.
No, I hear you.
Again, we're playing it over this flashback here and this beautiful rain shot here, where you just have Bo Peep again putting out the kind of the theme of the movie here. kids lose their toys every day. Again, we're looking at the whole journey of Woody, the lost toy idea. Kids lose their toys every day, kind of putting in perspective that, hey, kids, again, it'll wound your kid, wound Bonnie to kind of lose her favorite toys. And then this is the sad truth of life. We can all attest to this. Sometimes you lose your favorite toys. You lose them.
Also loves the shot under the car. He agrees with you.
I mean, you follow me though, right? I mean,
yeah.
All, in our life, we've lost a toy, and of course, we have to move past it, which kind of raises the great kind of Logan-esque question of, Woody might not come back from this. Not that he's going to die or anything. We are
a particular song about lost socks right now, Dragon, but I'll spare the audience.
Yeah, point being, we've experienced toys on the brink of death before. It'd be a rehash if we did that again. The only one we could really do that with is the toys, unlike any other toy with Forky. Beyond that, we don't really need any more death in this movie, or the threat of death, because we already did, as Kevin Smith lovingly refers to it, as Schindler's Toy Box in Toy Story 3.
And that's the thing. I mean, I feel like the threat of death is still going to be there with Forky, but we're not going to go big and bombastic with it, because we already went as big as we could possibly go with the idea of all the toys dying in this franchise. So I feel like we need to see death in a more intimate setting.
Okay, so get ready. So this bit the bit that follows this line is is the bit I think Tom Hanks is talking about here. I'm not saying this is the end of the movie per se. I'm saying this is the Oscar. This is Tom Hanks, the Oscar winner, bringing it to Toy Story here. This is this is where I was teared up when I was watching the trailer during this line. I know, I'm getting soft in my old age. Sue me. I'm sorry, folks. But this bit right here is the delivery from Tom Hanks made me melt, and of course, the Toy Story 3.
Yes, I agree.
It was again knowing the whole philosophy of we're here for Andy when he needs us here. The whole philosophy of Woody's core of his being and the purpose of toys within this franchise. Just hearing Tom, I'm not going to do any justice here, but I was made to help a child. I don't remember it being this hard. I mean, oh my goodness. I mean, just
it's pretty crazy emotional, man. I concur.
To help a child. I don't remember it being this hard. Woody kind of making the tough calls here, and again, it's unclear what he's going to do, man. And of course, we end on a kind of a gag with Forky here, where Forky's saying everything's going to be okay. Up there, darn it. Somebody's whispering in your ear. Everything's going to be okay. And I believe this is what Donovan's talking about, the fact that we see Bo Peep and Woody as, but again, we clearly hear Forky saying this dialogue over him. But again, it could be, sometimes there's some tricks to the editing in the trailer. Sometimes they just couldn't put the emotional shots over the dialogue sometimes. So I wouldn't read too much into it, but you never know. You never know. It's kind of a neat little gag at the end here, with the Forks being the optimist right now. Everything's gonna be okay, and Woody's like, oh boy. But seriously, Tiki, again, forgive me for my softness here, but still, it's I love this. The last shot of the trailer right here, Woody giving this triumphant Logan-esque look here, kind of a happy-go-lucky.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Basically, this is
kind of like it's kind of like that Logan poster embodied in the actual film.
Again, more accurately, so again, yeah, you're right. It's kind of Logan. It's more of Woody in a classic Western pose. That's the best use of it. It's kind of the triumphant Western cowboy look right here. It's kind of the triumphant, Shane. You say Shane with a smile on your face. It's kind of what you're thinking of Woody. It's basically, this is imagine this, okay? Imagine
I'm sorry, go ahead.
Basically, imagine, for your consideration, Tom Hanks as Woody. Sheriff Woody. Imagine that.
And I'd be all about that. You don't know how much I want voice acting to be. Oh
God, that would be the next level. Seriously, for your consideration, Sheriff Woody. That's basically that. I can imagine when this movie's coming out. This might be the face. This might be the freeze frame they're going to use for the Toy Story 4 highest grossing animated movie of 2019, or again, depending how it's going to fare against Frozen and all that stuff. Point being, they might just outsee each other, match each other. It's unclear how that's going to go. Point being, all the praise is going to be on this shot. I'm sure they're going to use this in the trailers for the success rate. But yeah, it's great. Sorry, so Donovan was saying.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Donovan's saying, I don't know, man. This could beat How to Train Your Dragon if it's as good.
Absolutely.
Also, he says he wouldn't be surprised if Tom Hanks retires after this. And Donovan, it'd be an appropriate place for Hanks to end, but I don't want that to happen. I love Hanks.
Okay, Donovan, when you say retire, do you mean retire from the role, or do you mean retire from acting? Period.
That's a good question. That's a good question.
If it's from the role, then obviously if this is the last Toy Story movie, which again I don't want to gild the lily again, I'm already sweating bullets over this one. I don't honestly, I'm not the guy who's saying let's push it. Me, if anything, maybe a few shorts. But honestly, if they really pull the moxie on this one, this could be it for Toy Story. If they end it right, I wouldn't blame for ending there. I wouldn't.
He says roll.
Right? Yeah, probably for the role. Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Probably gonna be a swan song for the role. I'm sure. All right. So, okay, so all that said, I guess final thoughts or anything else in the comments?
Nothing major in the comments. Donovan says, now I'm impaired to draw a Logan-themed Toy Story 4 poster. Donovan, hit me up on Twitter with that, and I'd be happy to share it on the next video on screen share, by all means. Anyways, Dragon, final thoughts on my end. I think this is a great trailer. The only thing that I have to nitpick about it is that I feel like it maybe gives away a little too much of the plot. I am not as sold on the dummies as you are, but I'm willing to give them a chance because of the parallel to Woody's origins and everything like that. But I will say that Disney has been killing it, man, because the Frozen trailer is amazing. This trailer is really good. And we'll see how it goes. We'll see how it goes. Out of all the Disney movies coming out this year, I will say that Frozen 2 and Toy Story 4 are the ones I'm looking forward to the most, even more so than Infinity War, probably, or Endgame, I mean.
Right.
So,
I tell you, my final thoughts. This trailer shows that so far the movie's going in the direction I wanted it to. Again, like the whole existential thing, as well as it's kind of like we're justifying the film's premise by asking the big questions. You know, we're justifying the risk of revisiting everything. So everything so far is indicating that it's going the way I want it to. So I'm very impressed by that. And of course, there's a lot of reasons to be worried about Toy Story 4. And so far, it seems like we're in good shape, which is all I'm fingers crossed, man. So far, we're in fighting shape. You know, I'm fascinated by the Woody and Bo Peep story. Again, it seems like the flashback is gonna have me, and of course, just like again, the devil's advocate point that Bo Peep's making for maybe you should not return the Bonnie. Like I'm on the edge of my seat, seeing where it's all gonna end. Again, that Logan-esque. What will happen by the end of this movie? What's going to happen to Woody at the end of this movie? Quality. I'm sold in this movie, and Disney's doing it right in the marketing so far. Just think about that. Like last week or so, we have the Endgame trailer, and then of course the following week, Toy Story 4. It's like Disney just they never let up. You know, it's the fact that okay, so
Dragon, I'm betting that we're going to get a Lion King trailer in the next couple weeks, man.
Yeah, of course, sure, Lion King. Sure, there's going to be more scenes I've already seen from the Lion King in CG. Yeah, whoop-de-doo. But again, Toy Story 4, though.
Wow, aren't you the optimist about that movie?
Yes, Hakuna Matata,
yes. Optimistic about the Lion King. Dragon's outright cynical about it.
That's what I'm saying, man. I'm just saying, like that. It's just gonna be it's gonna be the same thing, but in CG, and it's not even gonna be like the Jungle Book, man. I mean, I don't know. It's just like unless you're gonna go more in the Hamlet direction, I don't buy. Point being, I have no idea. Lion King, it does not compared to Toy Story 4 is not even on the radar. It's not even in the same playing field as Toy Story 4.
Yeah, but compared to the Lion King, Aladdin's not even on my radar.
Yeah. That's the thing. So, like Disney, they're coming out with points like they have like a Aladdin trailer that bombs the blue genie of it all, and then of course, okay, go to Plan Frozen, but we're not finished it yet. Just do it. But Frozen, it dazzles everyone. Like, oh my god, we gotta see Frozen.
That's the Frozen 2 trailer, Dragon. I saw it for the first time in theaters the other day, and it's just incredible.
Certainly. And then of course, you get the Frozen trailer, and of course, eventually we get what now? Endgame. Okay, unleash it. Let loose the Endgame. Coming in a few weeks, folks. A few mere weeks. We're going to have Endgame. Can you believe it? Endgame coming out. Again, this is the most clandestine a Marvel movie has been. The littlest we've known about a Marvel movie going into it. And of course, Toy Story 4, and it blows your socks off. And it's like, oh god, I have to see this movie. Yes, yes, 1,000 times yes. I'm just Disney's doing it right now, folks.
All right. So, thank you guys so much for joining us. Big thanks to Donovan and Louise in the chat. You guys are awesome and making the channel what it is, and I love the interaction we've been pulling out lately. So, thank you guys for that. And let's see. I guess I guess we will see you in July when we're going to be breaking down this movie in vivid detail when it comes out. Dragon.
I think it's June.
June. And I'm sorry. My bad. All right. So, all right. Without further ado, guys, see you later.
It was made to help a child. I don't remember.